All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get this music off in the background here. Caught up in the music. Yep. We are finally officially back. Let me do this computer so I can see too. All right, yeah, we are finally officially back. We are back up. Let me go ahead and bring the mayor on up here. Sir, welcome back to Real Talk Tuesday.
Hey, it's been a long time.
Yeah, they had me in what they call it, Facebook jail.
I heard you're in confinement.
Man, they
Uh,
did a number on me. But how have you been, sir? Over this 30-day break we had here.
oh man, busy. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I'm still getting at it. But and right now, you see, I haven't even had a chance to leave the office yet. I'm working on a couple grants, and this we got this program tomorrow. I'll talk a little bit about this the women's luncheon, and
Well, let's go ahead and get into that. Because yeah, that's big. Being Women's History Month and all that. And so the town is having something tomorrow. That's my man Amir. He came on there early, probably sleep by now. Um, but let me get over to this. It's a flyer here and tell us a little bit more about it. What time it starts, and is there any more room left? Because I heard you say there's quite a few people that's participating in this.
yeah, we've advertised this for some time now, and tomorrow is game time. So again, we haven't we just haven't been a part of our routine to take advantage of these type national level recognition, and so we think it's high time that's important. And so just like we do for MLK or your Black History Month, we got Women History Month here in March, and so here's an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the achievements of women in this country and those who've had an impact. And so we're very blessed to have one of our very own, Miss Felicia Rue Howard. She's a 1981 graduate from Andrews High School. And as you see there, she's currently serving as Vice President of Economic Development Strategy for Dominion Energy. That's big.
Mm.
That's big news. And we call her Andrews native, but we know she was born a little bit outside of the city limits. But she's one of our very own, and she did not hesitate to take on this role and come in to talk to us a little bit. So we'd asked for folks to RSVP, by said date that's up here. We took a few more today to get us up to I think max of 75. We may have a few more seats. I'll verify here before I leave, but it will be a lot of the attendees. It's from outside of the city limits, which is great. Some of our women that are from Georgetown, Charleston, um, and around the surrounding areas. So again, it's important that we celebrate, our women, and also talk about those things that they can do to assist our younger ladies and men, to coming up now and putting them on the right path. And so we will highlight our Girl Scouts Troop 2913. We'll talk more about them as well, and they're doing great stuff early on in their early establishment. So that's kind of
And
what's
so,
happening with this one tomorrow. I'd be at the rec at 12 o'clock, 12 to 2.
okay,
Be out of there.
gotcha. All right, I look forward to that. Look forward to. I didn't realize there was going to be that many people attending.
Yeah,
So that's
and I
that's going
think
to
it may
be
be a little bit more. And we're serving them lunch, and it's no cost to the attendees. Um, However, we are hoping that they will take an interest in our Girl Scout and make a donation to those young ladies. We will have the Scout leaders there, Miss Luann Miller and Miss Vermel Frazier, who's the founder of Troop 2913. There you go. You look at those beautiful faces. In fact, someone were here today helping us to package some of the little gift bags for tomorrow's event. And
Yeah, I saw Miss Luann put a video out showing that, and they were out in Orangeburg this past Sunday
mm-hmm.
out there. Here's a picture. They linked up with some other troops from around the state.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that was that was really cool. You know, I got there. I had some work I had to do, but I got there kind of late. But then I was able to get there and capture it. It's beautiful, as you can see right there along the Edisto River, right there in Edisto Memorial Park. But it was awesome. It was awesome.
They're the two troop leaders, and so in fact today I was one of the young ladies and her grandmother came to pick her up when they were finished with their community service, and she reminded me of my remarks at their event on Thursday, that we are interested in starting a Cub Scout, Boy Scout, Cub Scout. So she's already started to, pass the word around, and there's a lot of interest in it. So we have to find some young men to assist us with this, but we need to go ahead and get this thing started. It is a seriously positive environment that these young ladies are in. With Ms. Luan there, and she nurtured them like she's their very own mother. So they can't help but learn some things and be encouraged. And there goes Ms. Vermel. Yes, great people, man. And so it's open. I'm not going to speak on terms of how their enrollment. I know they're right now up to about 34 kids, or young ladies, I should say. And I know they can use the help and making this thing a success. But they're not waiting on anyone. They're moving forward. And so we're happy about that.
That is definitely what they're definitely doing. And so anybody interested in being a part of getting the Cub Scouts going, so we can we need to step up like these ladies did, and as far as creating an avenue for the young men as well as the young ladies to do different things. I know I got to get Mr. Kennedy back on, Mr. Butch with he's got the Boys and Men program. So definitely got to get him back on and talk to him. We had one of our young men, one of the football players, signed today, officially made it official today.
Okay, and, Mr. Aaron Moore.
A1. There it is. You can see him. The family was there. His dad called me this morning, and I just couldn't. This is bug season, and so I just couldn't be there today. I wish I was. My heart was there, but I'm proud of the young man. The guy had a long conversation with his dad. Pointed out some things, and some things came up in the conversation. The main thing is that we, the community, need to be more proactive in these kids' recruitment, the colleges and different things. We can't sit around so much to wait on other folks, but yeah.
Well, and that's what you and I were doing and not attempted. We got, so I know it gets busy because we're trying to do a lot, but a lot is required. But we need help. As we spoke with Benedict and others, as it pertained to who was a young man that came out a year ago, Shefan Boyd, and so it's just getting these young men and women an opportunity, getting their names out there. Because a lot of us just, not going to school. I mean, it was different motivations, I should say. And if it's football or sports that's going to get them there, then they're going to learn what else is important. That's usually what has their interest and give them an opportunity.
One of the things that I did hear, because I saw where Gab covered the event, but I did hear the coach stress one of the reasons why Aaron has this opportunity is because of Aaron's grades. And, that's a big part of, we can get out here, we can push, but, to the student athletes. And I'm going to have, next week, I spoke with AJ Lee a little earlier. And, we're going, him and some other guys are going to come back on because I really want to, keep keep an eye on these guys and keep, you know what I mean, up with what's going on. Because like I didn't know AJ had suffered an injury during track and field, and
we can't have that now. We gotta have can't have our star running back getting injured out there. To track, they may have to wait.
and it's actually baseball season right now. I haven't had an opportunity to get out. And I feel bad saying this, but I don't even know the schedule. And I know it's not hard to find, and I'll find it in here in a little bit. But I got to get out and get some get out to track and field and to the baseball game. Now, track and field, I'll say this, even though they've had it there for a minute now, and the kids who've grown up now, they just used to having, and you guys did it. I mean, didn't you have track events at Andrews High when you were going to school?
Yes.
See, and during my era, that didn't. It was always,
traveling.
Yeah.
Yes, and these guys here with the facility that they have, this state of the art facility out here. So hopefully if they will start to host some of the track meets, and I think this second year that we've had the new track, not the football field, but the track, and so hopefully I'll start to attract some tournaments. But yeah, it's right here. So, and we all kind of guilty of focusing either on football or basketball, and we forget about softball. We have outstanding players there. At track, volleyball, all those things are of interest. And I know we can't do it all, but hopefully others getting out there to support our kids, and they need it. I think the principal is doing a wonderful job at the high school. Certainly would restoring the pride and get things up. I just saw in a recent photo where we have the alma mater that is now neatly displayed, because there are times we've gone to graduations where kids couldn't, they never worked on the alma mater.
And that's something that's different from the time that we went to school, because after a victory, we sang that alma mater.
Yeah, we had was pep rallies, spirit stick, those kind of things, and I think when you have pride, it breeds a lot of things. That it forces you to be better in all across the spectrum when it comes down to the education. So it's important that we get that back, get some pride in there, and I think it'll start affecting the attitudes, the grades, and all those things. But if you don't appreciate where you are and enjoy what you're doing, then you're not gonna do well at it. You're not going to put an effort into it. So shout out to Miss Mahone and the work her and her staff are doing out there. Definitely.
Right there with the school, what we talking about, and I need to, as I'm talking to you, I need to find a picture. I didn't have this picture drawn up, but Rosemary School has a new principal.
Yep. I read some of it. Young man coming out of a Charleston school system, and so that I've seen some of the Facebook comments and things talking about all things Georgetown County. Obviously, is that a lot of things happen across the board, but when it comes down to school, government, whatever the case may be, if the people is not behind it and in support, then it's not going to go well. I don't care who it is. So
that goes beyond Facebook posts. You know what I mean? Just because people have an opinion on it, a lot of times they you know what I mean? Like the folks who have the opinion, like I saw some people were saying that we should draw from our local talent, and again that sounds good, and I agree, but does the local talent stack up to where to what we need? And then you got to ask yourself, I don't know, and I don't know, I'm just asking questions. Is the local talent making itself available to step up? And then even still, when we get this local talent, it still is going to require the help of the local people.
Yes. All those things have to be considered. Because what Rosemary may need, primary school or the high school may not. And then again, you can be one of the best leaders and have the a track record of success. But if you're not welcome in and embraced and helping along, it's going to be difficult because it's not a one person problem to solve.
Man, you just made me think of something. Just what you just said. And how you doing, Melanie? As great as take leaders from history. As great as Martin Luther King was, as eloquent a speaker as he was, as smart as he was, you take Martin Luther King and you put him inside of Montgomery, Alabama back in 1956 by himself, and he would be hung. You take George Washington as great a general as he was, and you put him in Antietam, one of the great battles by himself, and he would get killed immediately. But you take King, you take the Washington, and you put them around people with the like mind, the same motivation, and great things can happen.
That's
but
right.
Just alone, nah, it's not happening.
No, it's again, the folks that are sitting at the top, they get the rewards if their organization they're leading is successful. They get the blame if it's not, and that comes with that position. But the work that goes on behind the scene is really the people that the leaders rely on. And so then if that support structure is not there, because we're the guys that are out front and trying to tell the a positive story and do a lot of the hard work in terms of just networking, getting resources, those kind of things, making sure that the people that are doing the work on the ground, the teachers, have the tools they need to teach the kids. Same thing for me where I sit, do public works, police department, those kind of places have the necessary tools to do what they need to do. So that's all fine and good. But again, if we have people pulling in an opposite direction, then it's not going to go far. Yeah, there's a young man there.
Mm-hmm. And a new principal will oversee. I don't know if that was a good word. Will oversee Rosemary Middle School when the 2024-2025 year begins in August. On Tuesday, Georgetown County School Board agreed to unanimously hire Ernest Houston III to the position. He will be taking over for Principal Latanya Goodson. And then I saw apparently the vice principal, who's currently the vice principal, went for the job, and they didn't pick him. And some people had some issues about that. Again, I don't know what all was involved in the process of selecting the principal.
Well,
but
it's a series of things. I think like any other selection process, of course, as the district advertised, there were listening sessions from the inside the school, the students, the teachers, the administration, community leaders all met. They met with them. Then they had a separate selective committee as a part, as a part of the live interview. And then these candidates go before the school board and those folks. And then, so all of that and then their credentials, all that stuff is played into it. And I don't know how they make the final decision. But that's the process, so who makes the final call? I don't know. Hold on a second here. I'm going to mute you for a second because one of the topics we're going to talk about, I got the coordinator calling me. Stand by, please.
Okay. All right, guys. You know what? I'm going to take this time right here to shout out the candidate running for District 3.
Dear Georgetown County District 3 residents, are you ready for positive change in District 3? Meet Ernie Cooper, your dedicated advocate for a stronger, united community. Ernie Cooper is committed to unwavering integrity, ensuring that every decision made on the council reflects the values of our community. We want to hear from you. Ernie Cooper encourages you to submit your questions and concerns. Together, we'll build a council that truly represents the needs and aspiration of District 3, Georgetown County, where everyone plays a role. Ernie Cooper believes in fostering community involvement, ensuring that every citizen has a voice in shaping our future. We pledge transparency in every action. Ernie Cooper will keep you informed about decisions affecting our community, making sure you're always in the loop. Georgetown County thrives when everyone is equally represented. Ernie Cooper is dedicated to ensuring that every corner of District 3 has a say in the decisions that impact us all. Vote for Ernie Cooper, a leader with integrity, dedicated to communication, community involvement, and transparency. Together, let's build a Georgetown County Council that works for every resident. Your vote, your voice.
Are you tired of dealing with pesky cockroaches in your home or office? Look no further than our $200 German cockroach treatment. Our program is eco-friendly, safe for both children and adults, and will quickly eliminate any cockroaches present. Plus, our fast, effective service ensures that your property will be clean and free of any mess left behind. Don't wait until it's too late. Contact us today and enjoy a cockroach-free home or office.
Yes, we are back. Real Talk Tuesday. Again, tomorrow, the women's luncheon going down at the rec center the rec department in Andrews, South Carolina. Also going to be taking place. Just got this flyer right here. Let's drop it on you right there. And there it is. It's the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And let me get a reading on that for you. Give me 1 second, guys. Trying to do 4 things at one time. There we go. All right. And so what we're looking at is the National Vietnam War Veterans. It's the ceremony, and it's going to take place on Friday, March 29th, 2024 at 11 a.m. at the Andrews Veterans Memorial Park, and that's located at 1067 North Morgan Avenue in Andrews, next to the American Legion Post 69. So guys, definitely get on out there and support the veterans. If you're not a veteran, definitely get out there and support. The Vietnam War was a major all wars are major, but this was one of the wars that really shaped a generation right here, the Vietnam War. Can you hear me? I think you got your mic muted. All right, there you. Yep, I hear you. There you go. But a little bit. You want to talk a little bit about this event going down on Friday?
Yeah, and I was just an invitee, and I'll be making some remarks along with some others. But the importance of the Vietnam era and our veterans. I hope everybody will come out, and show them support. We know the history. We know how they were treated. We know what they went through, first of all, and how they were treated when they came back. And so we have to do all we can at all times to try, to make our veterans of that era feel appreciated, because a lot of them are still dealing with challenges from that time frame. And so we'll be there on Friday to celebrate our veterans from the Vietnam era. And so we ask all that'll be at the Andrews Veterans Memorial Park.
Yeah, that was a interesting period in American history. I mean, because like you said, some of them guys, it wasn't the heroes' welcome back from that war, because it divided the country so much. I think that was the war where Muhammad Ali had went to jail because he refused to fight in the war.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was 1990 when I was headed off as a young lieutenant. Getting my troops together. We got the call. There's a code, and when you hear that code, it's time to shut down everything and prepare to go to combat. And being a heavy division, it takes a little bit more time to pack up and move. But we pretty much go on lockdown. But to fast forward, we go through that prep period, and as we were leaving, and again, I'm a young lieutenant at this time in '90. This is support. I was at Fort Benning, and so we had to leave. We left from Fort Benning to go to Fort Stewart to finish up our deployment prep. And people, I'm telling you, whatever that distance is, and I can't recall from Fort Benning to Stewart, people were lined out along the road the entire route. And I'm talking, this is a few hours from one base to the other. And I could not help but to think about, and again, this is my first time going into combat, but my mind was on the Vietnam veterans and how they were treated. And here we are, we're just now leaving and getting all the support. And I couldn't imagine how they felt having gone in, doing what they're told to do as soldiers and, service members, but then being held responsible for some things that, that wasn't necessary. The military is just the arm of the government. And so we got to understand that. Now, were there some things happen that probably shouldn't have? I'm sure it was in any combat zone. But to treat this entire army or the armed forces in the way they were treated, it was just unfair. And they are still dealing with that to this day. There's PTSD. They didn't have the preparation, psychological training, or psychological, education, all those things that prepare us for the worst case scenario in combat. They didn't have that opportunity. These guys were drafted, going in, some willing, some wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. And so now you're placed in an environment that is probably one of the toughest battlefields in our history.
Mm-hmm. The average age was 19. I remember that song.
Yeah, no, 19. Yeah. And as a young officer going in, now we're going into a very different environment, very different time in 1990. Now we're in the desert, flat desert. There's no canopy. There's nothing that provides you cover and concealment. Where these guys, you can barely move without having a separation between forces. A lot of that was, foot soldier type action. And so people sit and think about that and going through that and being forced to go in terms of draftees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then coming out and still not getting the medical training, the psychological training, those kind of things, or attention, I should say.
It is definitely for those who don't, I'm fascinated by war, and so like I watch and I study the World War, the war, World War II is I study a lot about that, but Vietnam also, and just and then talking to people who actually fought in that theater, and just how it was, like you said, it was one of the toughest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, I got us a special guest here. Let me pop him in here real fast.
There he is.
There he is, man. Fresh from signing day.
Come on. Camera up.
Okay.
Young man, Aaron Moore, man. Aaron, thank you for tapping in, man, and popping on, man. Congratulations, first of all, man. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Outstanding. Great job.
Yeah, I had a long conversation with your dad this morning, man, and really proud of you. So tell us a little bit about how this thing took place, and how you feeling right now?
Well, I'm feeling like on top of the world right now. Like I feel like I can do anything right now because it's something that I dreamed of since like a kid. Like I wanted to play college ball, and now they give me a chance to play college ball. Methodist University, I will always thank them for that. But
No doubt, man.
when I toured the campus February 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So when I toured, everybody was welcoming. They already made me feel like I'm part of the team. Coaches and staff always talking to me. They talked about their student to teacher ratio, which I really like. It's only like 10, 15 people in the class, I think. And then they have it's a football program, but it's school first in the football program. So
No
if you
doubt.
have school that's in the way of practice, they're ready to do like the school thing first instead of practice. So they're gonna make sure I stay on top of my grades. So if something happen, if I should get injured for like God forbid, but if I get injured and I'll still have something to fall back on. So they make sure I get that first and then worry about football.
Yeah, you went in there. You went in there asking the right questions and having the right conversation.
Yes, sir.
I love that, man. So talk a little bit about how, because I heard Coach Durham make the comment about your grades today,
Mhm.
and that being a factor in how you were able to even end up on the radar of Methodist University.
Mhm.
Talk about how much of a factor, because I mean you went right into it about the grades, but talk to the young athletes about them grades, man.
Grades first. You can't like grades first. Like it's no other way to put it. If you don't put grades first, they're not gonna look for you. Say you could be the best person in the state in the nation, and you have 1 point some GPA. They gonna stop looking at you right then and there. They don't care about the film you put out. They don't care about none of that. They look at your transcript first. So if you want to talk to the coach, say your name and all, like your name and all, your weight, height, that's good. But when it comes down to we're putting you through college, so if you fail, it's
It's an
on you,
investment.
and
If
it's a waste
we're
of
not
their
about to
money.
waste this money on you, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean, it's a business now. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Mayor, any questions for Aaron?
Yeah. Well, I'm still mad at him because when he got here, he stole my fish. He went to my little fishing hole and caught the big fish. And they highlight that. No, man, I'm extremely proud of you. This young man came here, I think, a couple of years ago, and hit the ground running both academically and athletically, and you see the payoff. And he's absolutely right. If you don't have the grades, you're not going to go anywhere. And so my thing now, my question is now. So this is a huge leap. This takes me back 38 years, going into college to play baseball, and you get there, and the talent is like crazy. So
Mhm.
what are you going to be doing now between now and then to prepare yourself, because you're going right into a football season?
Work on my game. There's nothing else I can do.
What about
Just
what position they got you coming in?
wide receiver. I believe they
Oh,
got me wide
great,
receiver. Yes, sir.
great.
So I just work on my game, go out there, know what I can do, perform to my fullest capabilities, and see where that takes me.
Well, you got crazy quickness, man. I mean, you've
Mhm.
got great footwork. You see him on the basketball court. I saw you out there, football. So you have the skill set, and I'm sure these coaches are going to take you to another level. But like you said, it's that prep work, and I heard you were working with this former All-American track guy, that by the name of Marcus Pope.
Yeah.
And now that's a good move. This guy can teach you some things about speed. And as I was talking to someone that you and I know recently, I said, for guys vertically challenged like us, man, you work on that. If you got them speed and that hands, you're already a tough guy. You're going to be all right. So we're proud of you, man, and we're going to be following you, and hopefully we'll get up there to Methodist and see you play. I've got some friends that are alumni of that school, man, and so I'll send them a shout out and let them know that you got a great young man coming your way. So congratulations, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So you carrying the program with you, man. I just ask that you go up there and do your best, man, and put your best foot forward, and with the hopes of they looking at you and say, man, we got to look back wherever he came from. We need some more of that, creating that pipeline. That's something that Andrews is never it's something we never really accomplished, on the athletic, to where it's almost a given that, hey, look, somebody from Andrews High going to Methodist, based on the footprint that you set there. So
I like to say this to him as well, and kind of caveat what you're saying there, Jamal, is that when you get there, now you're an inside scout for the players that you're leaving behind, and you played with some very talented young men. And so that sophomore class you guys had last year, man, it is very, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And of course, the juniors, those guys rising, the seniors are great too. But it's going to be helpful for them if you help share their names and their, to the coaches as you prepare yourself. That's lifting as we climb. And so that's kind of the responsibility that falls on these, these path creators like yourself. You're going to create a path for these guys to follow you, brother. So continue doing what you do.
Yes, sir.
No doubt, man. So I ain't gonna hold you, Aaron. Listen, I talked to AJ earlier, and we're gonna get together next week, Wednesday, and definitely want you to be a part of that conversation. We're gonna get some different athletes, and because I want to keep this thing going with us because it's the off season, and I just want to make sure everybody stay focused, stay locked into what it is they need to be doing, and I think we can do that, through just having that conversation, keep having conversations. So any last words, anything you want to shout out, and don't you forget your grandma. Okay, go ahead and start it. But go ahead, man. The floor is yours, brother.
First, I want to give a big thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's the first thing I want to say. Thank you to him, because without him, none of this would be possible. I like to shout out my sisters, Diaria, Alea, Deja, my mama, my grandma, my Mimi, my great grandma, my auntie, my aunt sister. Let me see, my dad, of course, my two cousins that came from Savannah.
Yeah, I saw them brothers today.
Tian and TJ, and everybody in Savannah, really, everybody, because without them guiding me and keeping me out of the way, because Savannah, if you end up on that path, you're going to stay on that path. But I thank them for not putting me in that path and keeping me focused on the main goal.
You got our support, man.
Absolutely, man. All right, brother. So, again, I appreciate you, man. Again, I ain't going to hold you because we about to get into some ugly political talk here. but I rock with you, man. You know what I mean? So anything we could do to help, you know what I mean? You let me know. We definitely want to keep when you get up there, and want to keep this conversation up, because you stand in a position to teach a lot of people behind you. Because it's a situation that it's just a great opportunity for you, man. And I don't think it could have happened to a better person. So I'm proud of you, and I'm gonna let you go right now, big dog.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, brother.
All right, man. You have a great one, bro.
Thank you.
Yep. No doubt.
Man, that's huge, man. Hey, it brings tears to your eyes, man. You see these young folks get opportunities like this, and got their head on straight.
Yeah, that's why I'm so excited for this kid right here, man. Because he gonna take this opportunity to the next level for him.
Yeah, he's quiet, but he can get after it.
Hey, I forgot to ask him about the cakes. Aaron, if you watching, we'll talk about that, because I want to do a whole thing on that.
Yeah, I heard he's got some skills now. I heard bake sales, man. And look, he's all right. I'll let him tell you.
No doubt. That's what I heard. I forgot about that. That's all good. We'll have that conversation. You know what I mean? Because that could be his that could be part of his NIL deal. You know what I mean? The cake man.
Yeah, man. I heard he's got a list, boy. They be waiting on him. So he's a sharp kid. That's just a young man, not a kid, a young man.
Yeah. Mr. Aaron Moore. So listen, and switching back over, this thing is coming up here again after a year. But let me share this with you, because I was at the last Autism Walk. Before you start, let me share this with you. I think this was from there.
Ready? All right. Hi, my name is Adrea Cooper Neesmith, and we are here in Andrews, South Carolina at the Pavilion for our annual Autism Awareness Walk. I am a mother of two awesome boys with autism, and we put on this event yearly to spread awareness in our community about autism. Definitely, if you're in town, come out. Thank you guys so much for coming and supporting supporting. The community has turned out great today, and I really appreciate you, Andrews. You really showed up today. Thank you guys so much for coming out.
And that was from last year's autism walk. So I'm looking forward to that. Do you have the date? I hadn't gotten a flyer or anything on that yet.
Yeah, it's the 13th.
Okay, let me go to her page and see if I can find it.
Saturday the 13th.
All right, Saturday the 13th of April.
April, yes.
Okay, let's see if I can go to her page and find that. Yeah, that was a great turnout last week. Last year.
Last year, yep.
Yeah.
And it keeps it, it grows, and in terms of the awareness of people are coming out, just to learn about it, because sometimes we think it's kids being bad or busy, but they have they're challenged by this particular situation, and so becoming more aware as parents and teachers, everybody that around the kids, you can understand this a little bit better, and then be able to communicate and put the kids in a position that they need to be to be successful, and don't just shove them in the corner, man. So this is a great awareness event, and I encourage people to come out. You'll be hearing more. I think you have Ms. Cooper on, and she can give us a full.
You're right.
Full story.
Right. So
this year.
Ms. Cooper, definitely you run across that. You please reach out to me. And speaking of the Coopers, let me do this.
Dear Georgetown County District 3 residents, are you ready for positive change in District 3? Meet Ernie Cooper, your dedicated advocate for a stronger, united community. Ernie Cooper is committed to unwavering integrity, ensuring that every decision made on the council reflects the values of our community. We want to hear from you. Ernie Cooper encourages you to submit your questions and concerns. Together, we'll build a council that truly represents the needs and aspiration of District 3, Georgetown County, where everyone plays a role. Ernie Cooper believes in fostering community involvement, ensuring that every citizen has a voice in shaping our future. We pledge transparency in every action. Ernie Cooper will keep you informed about decisions affecting our community, making sure you're always in the loop. Georgetown County thrives when everyone is equally represented. Ernie Cooper is dedicated to ensuring that every corner of District 3 has a say in the decisions that impact us all. Vote for Ernie Cooper, a leader with integrity, dedicated to communication, community involvement, and transparency. Together, let's build a Georgetown County Council that works for every resident. Your vote, your voice.
No doubt. Got the Georgetown County Council, Georgetown County elections is quite a few seats. I saw what Mr. Milton is putting his hat in the election ring. Yeah,
good man. I know that young man very well. He worked hard when he was on the City of Georgetown Council, and I know he will do well for the county. I think that he says District 4, I believe, right?
District 4, yeah, District 4. Because Ms. Lily Jean, she's not running again, is she?
No, I don't know. According to the press, I on a press release or report that we saw earlier that she's not running. But again, April 1st is the deadline. People make decisions here in 30 seconds that to sign up, and so. But right now, he's the only one for that district, and these are all partisan positions, and so we're not sure what could happen. But a good man, can't go wrong with him.
Absolutely. So I was trying to get Mr. Ernie Cooper on tonight, but it was late when I sent out the invitation. So
yeah, I spoke to him earlier. He had an event. I think he's making his way back from Conway.
Okay.
And so spoke to him just before we came live here. But I told him that he needs to speak with you, get some airtime.
No doubt, because we definitely need him in this in District 3. I mean, I ain't gonna make no bones about it. we got to do better from Everett, Carolina. It's a lot has been exposed here in the last couple days with the county. And when I say exposed, I mean in the way that the county operates, from the leadership down. I'm sure you are familiar with the situation that took place over at the Georgetown County Sheriff's at the detention center with the fentanyl and the inmates. One dying. Have you been tracking that situation?
Yeah, I saw. That's unfortunate. It's lost a life and others have been affected in this thing. Yeah, I've been tracking that and kind of.
Well, let me play the latest update, and again, and I say update. This is from a couple days ago because I've been looking into a lot of these deaths, or all the deaths, and that's the deaths. I haven't even been able to track down all of the people that have been found unconscious that didn't die inside of Georgetown County Detention Center, and the number is quite alarming. And I'm going to hold that until I have the dates. I mean, have all the names and the dates, because some of them in the newspaper articles that I was able to find, it just said an inmate, and so I'm having to go through the process of the Freedom of Information request to get the names of these individuals. But I've been having people also reach out to me, from the community, just with their little different stories about situation. But here's the latest from the Sheriff Department on the situation in Georgetown County Detention Center.
Please allow me to give you a second update into the overdose that occurred at the Georgetown County Detention Center on Friday, March 15th, where one of those overdoses led to the death of Miss Shelby Ashby. Our condolences go to the Ashby family in this situation that was unwarranted and that should not have happened. Two things did happen as a result of those overdoses, though, and the death of Miss Ashby. A criminal investigation, which is being led by my office, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the State Law Enforcement Division, into the actions taken by Miss Lambert in bringing a contraband and a Scheduled I drug into our facility. The other action is an administrative investigation, where it has two parts. One part is, have my employees done anything criminally wrong in the searching or their actions and the lack thereof when searching Miss Lambert when she came into our facility, and then when she was placed into inmate population, which led to Miss Lambert being able to give this illicit drug to Miss Ashby and another inmate, which led to the death of Miss Ashby. The other part of this investigation is the administrative investigation. What did my employees do? What did they do or not do as far as the care, custody, and control, or the things that we raise our right hand and we're sworn to do when we house inmates? And what do we do as expected by our citizens of Georgetown County in the housing of inmates? That is what's been occurring here since Friday night. The criminal investigation has led to charges against Miss Lambert. I've already reported those. That was the contraband and distribution of Schedule I narcotics. But I'm also working with our state and federal partners to find any avenue whatsoever and the strictest and the heaviest route we can take to charge her either state or federally now that we have a death of Miss Ashby. The administrative investigation to date has led to the relief of duty of our jail administrator and the firing of the officer who was in booking that night and searched or did not search Miss Lambert as she was put into inmate population. And when she was put into that inmate population, she was able to give a drug to Miss Ashby, which caused her death. That drug was brought in by Miss Lambert from the street, laid simply on the booking counter, and Miss Lambert was able and allowed to pick those candy wrappers up and the simple pieces of paper which the drugs were contained therein and taken back to inmate population. That is what our findings are to date. Folks, it's simple. When you take a job here and you're put in a place of public trust and you're given the training and you're given the latitude to do your job, I expect you to do your job. This case is ongoing and very active, and we'll continue to give you updates.
That's the latest from the sheriff in that case right there. There's a lot of things. I've had some conversations with different people people who've been through the process of being booked into the jail, and just the idea that the lady actually put the dope in front of the guard and was able to put it back in her pocket and go in the back raises a million questions about the chain of custody, the whole process there. I had one guy tell me that, you know, it's easy for that to happen because he got booked in there and they didn't have a female because, you know, you're supposed to have females searching females and males searching males, and they didn't have any male guards in at the time. So he was able to go in the back fully dressed with whatever in his pocket. So I don't know. It's any thoughts on this whole situation?
You know, I am probably the last guy that will challenge how folks run their organization, because I don't know the internal, but I will say, just kind of generally speaking, and I think the sheriff mentioned that it should not have happened, and he's absolutely right. So now he has the task, whether it's an internal look or an external look, is to see how, because you have a person that lost a life, and as you mentioned earlier, you know, there's a couple other cases of some, you know, activities there, so it's got to be looked into, and I think hopefully they're the right people involved in trying to figure this thing out. Now, you know, we hear all the time about contraband getting in, but I'm a little disturbed, you know, how it was mentioned how.
Yeah, that's this a different level right here, man. I want to know, like, how long have they been doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a lot to it's a lot that has to, you know, just only, again, generally speaking, in terms of maintaining control of inmates, or whether it's a urinalysis. You know, I go back to my days in the military in terms of how we treat these kind of things, and just the chain of custody, all the process and procedures, standard operating procedures. And so I heard that he's already taken action on some of the personnel that were directly involved. But I think it's got to be on, you know, and talk about oversight, overlay, and those details to make sure that this doesn't happen. So I don't wish that on anybody. Heart goes out to the families of those affected by this thing, because it's serious and it should not be taken lightly, and I don't think it is. But again,
well, we'll see how lightly is, because it seems like all of the other situations were kind of taken lightly. And again, I've been doing some digging into this and how many times this has happened. You would think that, okay, there would be some changes put in place. There's a current lawsuit right now surrounding this young man's death in around with some of the same circumstances, which is making me start to believe now that you know, I'm starting to wonder, how long have they been doing this? You know, they're finding all these different people in the detention center unconscious, you know, go to the hospital, and it's the same story, to the point where some of the stories were it's like a generic press release that they just send it over. Okay, we got another one here, send this over. You know, inmate found dead, inmate found unconscious in Georgetown County Detention Center, was transported to the hospital where they later died. Updates available. I mean, updates when we get the information, and there's never updates. Okay, and I've spent hours going through. And Scott Harper, if you're watching, please, if you can go through your archives and help me out with some of this. I shouldn't have called Scott out like that.
So yeah, I'm not real familiar. I know I've heard.
It's all good. You don't have to, because I'm about to make everybody familiar with these different cases, because it's disturbing.
Yeah, so that's just 3 months ago. Three months ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got to look at it. I mean, it's like anything. You got to, you know, we check our systems and making sure that you know, we that it's not the process. You know, if it's the individual who just not doing their job, that's one thing. But if your standard operating procedures are not refined enough that you know to prevent these kind of things, then it's then we got to look at that too. So typically, you should have an outside agency come in and look at something.
That's where I said that too, because again, and keep in mind now, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just going and taking what's there. Okay. So like I found this statement that was on the Georgetown County Sheriff's Department's website, Facebook page, social media page. And this was during the time when I did that piece about them strong arming the council. You know, I was hyperbole, but the point being that for me, just from following this, it seems as if the sheriff has a certain level of contempt for the county council. And I only bring that up because I don't know if they have any authority over him, you know what I mean? Because you mentioned it should be an outside agency investigating itself. I don't think the agency should investigate itself. I just don't believe that's an effective way to get to the bottom of any potential problems. But when the sheriff has on his page, the Georgetown County Council clearly has no understanding or plan to address the public safety needs in Georgetown County. That's coming from the sheriff's page. That's a troubling statement.
You know, I mean, I have the same responsibility here to public safety and those things. So it bothers me when we don't have enough officers on the ground, those kind of things, because crime is up. People taking the opportunity to take advantage of people. So I can only imagine when it involves a death. And so we're constantly looking at how do we improve our ability to again to protect the citizens. And it's been a challenge. We all know that. But thankful to our chief, Chris Cockrell, and Major Chandler for the hard work they've done on last year, that our force is now seriously on the rebuild. And so again, we're thankful for the sheriff department for assisting them with the patrols. But so it's a constant thing, and sometimes you have to thank God, your chief and the major has 30 years plus of experience, and there's resources out there. So what comes with experience is understanding what else is out there to help you do your job. So when I say an outside agency, and I'm sure at any sheriff level, you have access to SLED resources, federal resources to come in and help look at some things. And again, and I'm sure other places, sheriff's been around for a while, so hopefully they will elicit some of the help from others to help with this thing. I don't like it. It's our county, it's our people, and lives involved, and so everybody's affected by it. And so, I'm the last to try to, point the fingers, but I certainly want to be one that help with any resolution to this thing. And again, it's tough time.
And again, my position is that there's a fentanyl crisis. You know what I mean? And it's not just because I'm saying it, and and I know at that jailhouse there needs to be some changes, because again, we're losing a lot of people there, and I don't know. It makes me question whether or not they take that seriously. Again, I don't know but I don't know. It's just I don't know what's
the facility, the procedures, because they're soon to embark on a new facility, and I know just on how we operate. I mean, what we're having to operate in, it's not conducive. I mean, we have a serious security issue here. So you got these old structures that you're trying to run government operations. It makes it tough. But again, you have to have procedures in place.
Yeah, you're a nice guy, Mayor. I tell you, because that new jail ain't gonna solve these problems. These type problems that we're talking about, New jail won't solve that. These problems we're talking about is now quality of life and sanitation. I think that's one of the major issues with the county jail as it sits. But this sounds to me like there wasn't they haven't, either they're short staffed, the training is lacking. This sounds like some other issues, some oversight. You know what I mean? This is what it sounds like to me, and that's just my opinion. You know, on what this is sounding like.
Yeah, quick shout out to Mayor Pro Tem Tammy Solomon out there of Estill, that just gave us a shout out. They're listening from Estill, and also Councilwoman Cynthia McCormick out there from Patrick, South Carolina. So those are some of my colleagues that we're often in contact, and so thanks for listening in. But yeah, so yeah, and and again, I don't want to. You do a lot. Credit to you for doing a lot of investigative type stuff, and that's important. So if you're going to be a source of information and talking about these issues, you have to do that level of investigative journalism like you're doing. So I appreciate that, and it is what it is. As long as and hopefully that's taken into consideration and helping us, the government, look at things a little bit different if we're not on track. And that's what I think that's what this should be all about. Not just to throw stones, but to bring those issues, because we're in the public. We're public figures, we're public servants. And what we do is to benefit the people. And so then all of this is relevant, what you're talking about. And again, I appreciate the level of detail that you go into and where I am, very cautious in terms of how I speak on other issues. I didn't have the time and not necessarily interest, but to dig in. So again, I appreciate you bringing a lot of this information to us and to the people that are listening. I just say that coming from an organization that is strictly on procedures and policies and standards, that's got to be one of your things that you look at. I mean, we just had a safety stand down here for the town this past Friday. Oh, Miss McCray, she's something that's probably the only place you're gonna see that in print.
Ever. That's the first and the last time
it tickled you.
Oh man.
Our folks got jokes sometime, huh? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. You wouldn't be a bad guy out there to do.
Well, anyway, let me shift gears here a little bit real fast. Ms. Melanie brought up a situation in Baltimore, Maryland. Man, let me play this right here real fast to give. I think everybody's pretty much aware of what's going on there, but let me play this a little bit and then we'll talk about it.
Ken Davis, he is a structural engineer and owner of KH Davis Engineering Consultants in Toronto. Ken, as Tony Grace was just reporting, this cargo ship struck the bridge early this morning, but we heard from officials there that this bridge was up to code, that there were no structural issues with it. So how does a bridge nearly 3 kilometers long come down then like a pile of dominoes?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's shocking to see the images of what happened. I was able to, see a YouTube video that showed sort of a time lapse of the collapse. And of course, it appears that the ship was errant. It went off track. And I'm guessing that it just plowed right into the bridge pier, which of course provides support for the entire structure. If you look carefully at pictures of the bridge before the accident, you can see that the support that failed consisted of a very heavy concrete beam supported on what initially might look like 2 pillars, but in actual fact, there's 4. And I'm thinking that if there was an impact on one of those 4 legs, that would have created an instability and caused that entire span to collapse. And the other reason that it might have brought the whole bridge down is that this isn't just a simple bridge that's supported at points. It's what's called a through truss bridge. It's a very large one, and the bridge itself relies on support from not just individual supports, but even from adjacent spans. So it's continuous structure. So if a part of it collapses, the rest of it can come down as well.
And that's a little bit from the engineer, of course. What happened was a container ship lost power and ran into the bridge and took the bridge out. Are you familiar with that bridge? I know you used to live in that area, didn't you?
Yeah, I did 2 tours up there, and I'm sure I've crossed that bridge many occasions. Again, heart goes out to city of Baltimore, families that affected, direct loss. And, it hit me from all different directions. Again, I'm familiar with the area and have friends and family up there. And my son is a superintendent for bridging, for a contracting bridging company. So, first thing I did, gave him a call this morning and said, "Hey, have you seen this?" And so and he actually worked, did some minor work, I think repairs on that bridge years ago. But it's, tragic all over, man. And but I will tell you what, those responders got out there quick when they notified them that they lost power. Those guys, because you can imagine the length of this bridge and the volume of traffic that travels. And so then, even in this tragic situation, it happened at a time where the traffic was very minimum, because when if you travel through that area, you're stacked up for hours sometime. And I used to drive to the Pentagon. I think I was living maybe 5 miles from the Pentagon, and it took 2 hours if I hit the road at the wrong time. And so we just sitting there parked on the road. And so I can imagine that's the first thing I thought this morning, that I didn't think there was any time during the day or the 24-hour period that it wasn't, a heavy volume of traffic. But thank God those responders got there and stopped that flow of traffic before we lost more. So they're out doing, got all the agencies out there, federal, state, local, trying to recover. And then think about, the tragedy of it. And it also affects, commerce.
They say the shipping that's going to shut down the shipping in that port for a couple months. And so what I'm thinking they'll have to do is they'll have to park out and put it on a smaller vessel, maybe, to try to get the goods in or something. Or they're going to just have to go to another port and
direct them. And are they prepared for that? All of that shipment to come into any other port. It's pretty serious all the way around.
Well, maybe if they get Georgetown dredged out in time, we can help out.
I don't think that's going to happen.
That's another shot at the county.
I know, but it's a serious situation, obviously, and it's going to take years to recover. Can't imagine. And so when I saw that, man, I thought about that. I think it's a Don Hope Bridge in Charleston. It looks, I think similar style.
Yeah.
And it's never a comfort, a high comfort level going across that thing. Not that it has any issue. I don't know that.
And I mean, because you don't think about what's passing under there. We never think about that. I mean, who was going to think that a ship was going to hit the bridge and knock the whole bridge down? So now that adds another level. Our mutual friend Jay is terrified of bridges.
Really?
Like, you can't even, if you're driving and you on the phone, he don't even want you talking on the phone on the bridge.
Jay.
So I was like, bro, I got a nightmare scenario for you.
Yeah, you talked to him today?
Yeah, I spoke with him earlier today.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know some folks that don't like bridges, and this is not going to help. And you can imagine, I mean, the bridge that's going to, that they're working on currently, from Georgetown to Paulins Island, and it's the fear that it creates across the country. And we talk about, infrastructure and how these things are in need of repairs, especially inside. You can see the reports. It just, I can just imagine the fear and that this thing is placed in people across the country. So we just got to keep doing the best, pray about it, keep moving, man. Can't stop.
No doubt. And Veronica, the only reason I didn't think it was a 9/11 type situation is because they didn't do it during the height of traffic. Now they did it during rush hour, then I'd be like, okay, they trying to get the maximum, the maximum effect here or whatever. But
yeah, look at that. I mean, even the 9/11 PTSD that we all are affected by, whether we admit it or not, when you see an incident like this,
first thing, yeah.
Of course, the FBI is looking into that. And early reports this morning, there are no indications that there was, this was any terrorist activity, but there's more investigation. I pray that it's not. Yeah, because 9/11 is still fresh in our minds.
Yes, sir. I see here that there's going to be a parade and a community barbecue. Who's hosting it? I haven't gotten that flyer yet.
That is and I said that is the
Riding Divas.
Riding Divas. Riding Divas. They're doing an event here at the date escapes me. Again, it's in April, and they've come together, want to do something for the community, and this is their way of giving back. So there'll be some level of festival. They will do the traditional route for the parade, and then we'll end down at L&L in that area, in that big open field where they will have food trucks and other things that show things for the kids, and just kind of and they give back. And my thoughts are, they give back because they're in every parade, anything that whether it's a birthday for an elderly, those ladies are there. They're requested from towns and cities across the state. Mm-hmm. So they've been very busy, and I think we should be celebrating them, but they are still giving back to the community. So we appreciate, and the town will do what it can to make sure this is a successful event.
No, and I just got this in, and the Riding Divas are they were at this event last year. Here's the autism flyer, okay. Official autism flyer, and that autism flyer wow. I just got some information in about, I can't even say that. I better not say that. Wow. But yeah, Built Autism Tough right here, this flyer. And again, you see April 13th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Resources, food, fun, door prizes. The walk begins at 9:30 a.m. Please contact Andrea Cooper Neesmith at 843-344-8859. And this event is going to take place at across from Piggly Wiggly at the Andrews Pavilion, which is valued at more than the town hall, but that's another that's another story. I'm sorry. I just
the truth is the truth.
Yeah, it's when you think about it, you're like, wow. So yeah, and then I just got another flyer in that I'll get it loaded up here in a minute, but that's from the Riding Divas Community Day, and I'll come back and definitely post that on my page here in a second. I just got a note in for me to research the person. Man, I just got thrown off. I'm sorry. Also, I got this right here.
This is pretty good right now.
Yeah, after school YMCA at Andrews Elementary after school program. Okay, this is the YMCA getting started. After school program, enrichment, guest speakers, arts and crafts, STEM, which is the key. That is the key. They can talk about all these other programs. You give these kids STEM, and we talking about something now. When you're talking about education, daily snacks, homework help, register now at Coastal Carolina YMCA.org. Hold on a second. I got something else to go along with that.
Now this is in addition to the YMCA program that's going to be held at the ACE Center. So this one, yes. Okay, that's in conjunction with what you just posted.
What I just put up there.
Mhm.
All right, but and what were you just saying?
Yeah, so this program, what you just showed, is in addition to what we announced back in January. That's going to be taking place at the ACE Center on Main Street. And I think they've already, I'm not sure if they did an official announcement, but they've already selected a director for that. And I think he will get started in June or July. I'm not sure. So a lot of great things coming in. Addition, again, the Girl Scout, you got the YMCA. And again, we want to thank the Parsons Foundation for their contribution to the startup of this program here in town. And so you say it's official that they've announced a young man. Who is he? Tell you one of the inside scoop, man. You check with Miss McCray.
Hey, listen, I'm getting the flyers. I'm getting everything right now in real time.
Okay, so she'll send over the article. So it's in an article out there somewhere. Okay, if you can get that to Mr. Richardson, that'll be great. Because I know they were going through interview process. I didn't want to get ahead of the folks at the Y. But I know they have some great candidates. So whoever they selected out of that core candidates is going to do the program well.
Hold out. Let's hear a word from my sponsor.
Are you tired of dealing with pesky cockroaches in your home or office? Look no further than our $200 German cockroach treatment. Our program is eco-friendly, safe for both children and adults, and will quickly eliminate any cockroaches present. Plus, our fast, effective service ensures that your property will be clean and free of any mess left behind. Don't wait until it's too late. Contact us today and enjoy a cockroach-free home or office.
Dear Georgetown County District 3 residents, are you ready for positive change in District 3? Meet Ernie Cooper, your dedicated advocate for a stronger, united community. Ernie Cooper is committed to unwavering integrity, ensuring that every decision made on the council reflects the values of our community. We want to hear from you. Ernie Cooper encourages you to submit your questions and concerns. Together, we'll build a council that truly represents the needs and aspiration of District 3, Georgetown County, where everyone plays a role. Ernie Cooper believes in fostering community involvement, ensuring that every citizen has a voice in shaping our future. We pledge transparency in every action. Ernie Cooper will keep you informed about decisions affecting our community, making sure you're always in the loop. Georgetown County thrives when everyone is equally represented. Ernie Cooper is dedicated to ensuring that every corner of District 3 has a say in the decisions that impact us all. Vote for Ernie Cooper, a leader with integrity, dedicated to communication, community involvement, and transparency. Together, let's build a Georgetown County Council that works for every resident. Your vote, your voice.
All right, and on the screen right here, Riding Diva's first annual parade and community fun day. All right, there's gonna be jumping castle, face painting, and free hot dogs for the kids, raffle drawings, and more. There's gonna be DJ Tony C and DJ Rock on the 1 and 2s. Food trucks, vendors wanted $75 per spot, which is very, very affordable. Please call 843-925-1160. And this is going to take place at 510 West Main Street. Again, that's over there by L&L Trucking in Andrews, South Carolina. Should be an awesome event. I look forward to being out there. And shout out to, again, my graphics lady, Miss Veronica. Real time graphics going on right here. All right. And I got a document in, I don't know if I was supposed to, this thing right here. You want to talk about that?
I don't see it. What you got?
This thing here.
Oh, it looks familiar. I've been reading these things a long time. That's the just, South Carolina Code laws amending its section 410, 330. Long story short, this is the guidelines for the capital project sales tax. The work that's ongoing right now, and I see the highlight there. Those are the things that could be paid for out of these tax dollars that's collected. All
right. So the capital project sales tax. For those that don't know, Georgetown County is going through the process right now of collecting information for a capital project sales tax to be placed on the 2024 ballot in November. Where are they at in this process right now? From what you know.
All right, so they did a series of meetings every Thursday, and they circulated throughout the county to give everyone an opportunity to express their concerns or their wishes for any projects. And so now they're as of last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, they started getting projects in. I think there was one. I'm not sure how many they have now, and they began the process of selecting and evaluating these projects. So when they all get in, they'll rack and stack these things, and by the 1st of May, they got to get this list to the county council. So all the entities or any entity that's submitting these projects have until the 1st of April to get them in. And it's that's another thing I'm working on. Worked on that last night for a while, and I'll be doing that throughout the weekend to ensure that we get the projects we need that are critical to the town and in the system, so they can be assessed. We have five categories that we got approved by the council on last Thursday, and I thought I had those somewhere around. Yep. That we set the priority, and again, the council voted unanimously to approach these priorities as such. So our number one priority is water and sewer. Those two water and sewer projects. Again, we have the challenges we have with our old system. We got some things outlined, and there's several subcategories under those two topics. Under those two categories, water and sewer. Then our public works facility. That right now, those guys can't get in there. It's an old building laced with bad stuff, black mold and that kind of business. So that's a priority, because right now we can't do any work on the vehicles or anything, or can't go inside. No restroom facilities with this old system. So that's number 3. And then number 4 is storm drain and flood mitigation projects. We've been working on those for a while now, since the 2015 flood. We had a project in progress that was initiated by the county, but that project has stalled because it came in over bid. And so it was, so I'm not sure. We got to get an update from the county on that. But that was going to solve about 70% of our flooding problems here in town by creating a new outfall. That's on hold, and that's been on hold for some time, because we should have been at least 50% completed with that, if not further completion. But here we are. That's another issue we have to address with the county. That's the fourth project, fourth priority, I should say. And then the 5th priority is the Andrews revitalization and the Black River State Park Connection project. And that will address the revitalization of Main Street, our parks, create path that's connect us directly to the Black River State Park, which again, I think everybody should know now, that's the 48th state park here for South Carolina, and the first one in the last 20 years. And we have it right here to take advantage of. We see it as an economic engine to create jobs and opportunities and businesses right here in the town of Andrews. So we're leveraging this again to make sure that our town is again set for any economic growth. And you've seen the success we've had here in the last several years, but we haven't begun yet. And this is a real opportunity for us. So those are kind of our priorities. And so we now have to put these packets together, and it's an incredible amount of information they're looking for. And as I expressed to them, we have a staff that, again, with a lot of hard work and kind of put these things together. But but I don't see how the rural areas who don't have that capacity going to be able to do those kind of things. So
for example, what are some of the criteria they require? And just,
oh man, so, and I think the attempt, I kind of paraphrase it, they want to make sure that they have a clear understanding of what these projects are. First, that they meet the requirements, which I think they are, because these things are so broad, as we just saw. Then whether it benefits the county, which I have an issue with how they phrase that, because the issues that we may have here or the city of Georgetown, Pawleys Island, may not have a direct benefit on the rest of the county. So that's kind of a dicey criteria. You have to have an estimate. You're going to have some engineer level work done. And you kind of got to lay it out. And then how is this going to impact the citizens? Is this a safety issue? What is the need? So what is the need for this thing? And then how do you sustain it over time?
So what was the purpose of them having a meeting in these rural areas, like in the meeting in Sampit, the meeting out in the Choppy area? What was the purpose of them having the meetings? And I mean, it seems as if, just seems that they got the people hyped up and didn't really tell them the fine print. Like, hey, look, this is what we're looking for in order for these projects to be considered.
Well, in all fairness to the commission, they did. And that was the purpose, to go there to say, here's what we're looking for. The issue is, they don't have the capacity. They don't have the capacity. Now, unless, again, I think what theoretically what's supposed to happen is that if they're, like, for example, if they're in the Dunbar area, there's a county council rep that covers all of Georgetown County. Obviously, it's, that goes without stating. So now that person who may say, hey, we need a park here in Dunbar, then who's going to put that work together? They don't have the expertise.
That's what I understood that you said earlier. Yeah. Was that you've been burning the midnight oil trying to get these things together to submit, just to be considered.
Right. So
if all that talking that they went and did in these different communities, if they're not submitting it, then there's nothing to consider.
Absolutely right. And if it doesn't meet all of these requirements, these steps, then they're not going to score very high, which will probably push them down on the the priority list. So it's kind of dicey. So then I think theoretically, again, with this example I use, if it's Dunbar, it's a park, that should go to the Parks and Recreation in Georgetown to do that. But I can imagine that you're getting you're getting all these requests from all over the county that goes to the Parks and Recs, and now who's going to do all that work? So it's a little concerning for them, but we got to put the work in. We got to get, we'll get it in. We'll see what happens. We're still, suffer some PTSD and some, about the last one in 2014. So 10 years ago, we went through the same process. I will say that this commission has done a better job, kind of laying things out. I'll give them that. But there's still the end. We got to see how it stacks up.
I don't think they're doing a good job because they want to do a good job. I think they're doing a good job because attention's being put on this, and because of what they did with the last one.
Yeah, and they should want this to be successful because they're putting the work in, all volunteers. But I'm still concerned of how it's going to be. So when I'm waiting to see how this end list, this one is the end list, and where our projects stack up. But at the end of the day, the citizens have to vote on this thing one way or the other. So they get the final say. We will do the groundwork here. We know it's critical. These things we just rattled off to you. Those are absolutely critical. It may not have a direct impact on the county, but it does on Andrews. And I think that's where, the rub comes in for me. Now the good thing is what I'm being told, and I haven't read this yet, even in that piece of piece of law we just looked at, is that once these projects are racked and stacked by this commission they cannot be reorganized by the county council.
Okay.
That's huge. And that every project submitted will go on the primary or an extended or a continuation list, I think, if I'm using the proper term. So all of them will be on there. Now, bear in mind that there's about $80 to $100 million that anticipate to be collected.
And I mean, I have to say this, negative Nancy or whatever, but just because it's in writing, this council that hasn't stopped them in the past from.
Well, allegedly, there's no, and I got to find it. Allegedly, as this commission has stated, they can't because the law has changed. I haven't seen that change. That would be major change from the 2014. So that's what has gotten us into this position now, that there are flexibility at the county level to do all these changes if they follow these rules, if they met the requirements in the initial referendum. Then they could, do another ordinance that says we're going to take the remaining of these dollars and spend them on XYZ. But as you know, and I know, that wasn't followed. So maybe that authority has been taken away from any county council to do that, and they have to follow what this commission has laid out. Now, I'm concerned, the other thing that concerns me, I haven't been talked back, but it was in print that there's already $30 million or $29 million,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that maybe that project will reveal itself.
Well, it's going to have to
in this process.
Maybe they've stepped away from it, but early on in this process, that was mentioned that there was already $30 million earmarked for something. I don't know what that something was. They did not reveal it, but it's in one of the earlier articles. That concerns me because then if it's $30 million and it's you anticipate collecting $10 million over in a year's period, which doesn't start until 2025, then now you're talking 2028 before this $30 million this $30 million is committed to whatever this project is. Everybody else will see you in 2030 and beyond. So that's not helpful for us who have to address some immediate needs right now. So we got to pay close attention to how this thing is rack and stack. And people just have to be ready to make a decision come November.
No doubt. Sticking right there with the infrastructure, I heard you bring up something about the water bills. Any
Yeah, bills that went out, bills are going, getting back on track. Those are going out. We still work with some of the eaches in terms of, the meters. But for the most part, that's done. The readings are completed for this cycle. And so we're slowly getting back on track. And we got to, again, shout out to the staff for all the hard work and the young man and young lady that's on the ground doing the reading, changing meters out. So we're back there. In fact, they got another bill quickly. I think it was like a 16 to 17 day reading, and that's to help us get back on the routine reading period, which is the first few days of the month. I'm sorry. They go out on the first. That's our intent to get back on there. So we're getting close to that, but it's a process.
No doubt. Let's see. We talked about economic development. I know we didn't talk about who you got in this the March Madness thing, and I know right now the whole these women have come and taken over college basketball. At least
I'm loving it. Yeah, they have. Yeah, the boys are boring now. The ladies have stepped up. Hey, this is Women's History Month.
Yeah,
these ladies are representing, and so I just want to see. Of course, I'm pulling for Carolina to take it all again. But I love what's happening down at LSU, Iowa. Across the board, everybody's stepping up to make it exciting. So it's a real good time, and just to hear some of the side chatter about sports. We haven't had this kind of conversation since I think the old Duke North Carolina battles back in the day, when those guys kind of faded back, and some of the other, nobody really talked about when Miami won back-to-back, championship. Nobody talked about that.
It's setting up to be well, not quite the finals that the Final Four that everybody wants.
The other thing is exciting. I mean, you get these Cinderella teams come up and knock some of these, big hitters off.
Ooh, yeah, that happened. Kentucky made everybody on the men's side made everybody tear their ballots up. A lot of people tear their ballots up.
I'm kind of an underdog guy. I love to see people team just come up, take the Giants down. They're all bullies anyway. I don't like bullies. So I love it when they, but I got to stick with Carolina. I'm not sure. I think some of them consider them bullies, but they're playing good ball. You got one of the best coaches out there, so they're playing good ball.
Yeah, well, the SEC has always been traditionally known as a tough conference. Like, I mean, even from the Pat Summitt teams from Tennessee, and I know.
When you see UConn get punched in the mouth, that's kind of still a shocker to me because UConn used to be.
He
definitely going to the Final Four.
He had a stronghold on college women's college basketball.
But that young lady out of Iowa, man, she shoot the lights out.
Caitlin. Caitlin's dad. I love. In the last game they were playing when they played not Kansas State, when they played West Virginia, and Caitlin was jawing back and forth with the referee, and the camera flashed over her dad, and he just told her, "Shut up." You know what I mean? Like, basically, look, get it. You know what I mean? That's not what we came here to do. Play ball. All that crying.
Yeah, and that's all a part of it. They give the young lady from LSU a hard time, but I'm enjoying it. I think she's playing good ball. She's got some Dennis Rodman. She can shake them up.
Oh yeah, and her coach now, Mulkey, they got her kind of twisted up right now, and it's kind of unfair what they're doing to her. The media is doing to her, writing these hit pieces on her, and a lot of it's got to do with the fact that she used to coach at Baylor. She coached what's the girl named Brittany Griner.
Okay.
And during the time when Brittany was locked up over in and it had a lot to do with the fact that she didn't agree with Brittany's lifestyle. Baylor, and I mean it stands to reason. Baylor is a Christian university, you know what I mean? Like but she didn't support that, and she's one of these people who she ain't gonna be rude, or maybe she may be rude, but she's gonna tell you how she feel.
Yep.
And
now I will say that she was definitely on the line when she suggested that they should have picked on
no big girl. I kind of like that, man. I mean, and it wasn't no fight. They had that thing like them girl. Listen, you want to see a fight? Google or YouTube Malice in the Palace.
Yeah, so we have to be careful as leaders that we don't excite any riots.
That's like what blowing that dog whistle when Barkley said what he said about if he saw anybody with the MAGA shoes on, he'd punch him in the face, and
Barkley said that.
Yeah, you can't say that, Broccoli. You know what I mean? Because somebody may think, well, Broccoli said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you got to be very careful because that encourages people, and they, some that who was get caught up in the moment. They say, hey, coach got my back, so I can go out here and punch this person in the face, and I'm good. And that's not how the outcome is going to be. Very different. You see. So I think as that would be the only thing. And other than that, her competitiveness and how they get after it, I'm okay with it. It makes the game exciting.
Yeah. You need a little spice in there. Dawn got she was all butthurt because the CBS commentator said called the girl the big Brazilian. She was like, "Oh, I can't believe he said." What do you mean? That girl's 6'8", she's big, and she's Brazilian. I mean, I think that's a pretty adequate description of her.
I didn't see that. And we all, again, she coming to, and I guess is how you say it. I didn't see the comment.
And it wasn't nothing. It It was the like when they do the promos, CBS Sports, and South Carolina with the big Brazilian and and she was just like, oh, like cut it out, dog. You getting
now who was what network was it?
CBS. It was CBS. If it was Fox, you know what I mean? It wasn't Fox.
Because you know there's some negativity coming out of that.
Oh, man, yeah, it was CBS, and they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like we didn't mean anything," and they didn't,
Well, again, words matter, man, and how I remember Jimmy the Greek.
Oh, that's my dude, right there. Jimmy just told
He like controversy.
Jimmy said, "The ladies with no big thighs." That's what
Yeah, Jimmy can't talk about breeding folks for certain things, and that's not okay.
That was a little too real, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy had to pull Jimmy off the air.
Yeah, Jimmy was about let's see, about when he did it. If he was about 30 years earlier, you know what I mean? You could say that on TV in the early 50s, and you could say folks, yeah, Jimmy.
We're in a different environment, man. All that stuff got to go. Let's be conscious of those things we say. Especially when we're in the public eye, and your coaches and mayors and whatever. It's got to be kind. Now it's gonna fall out. What's in you gonna come out.
Apparently, that's what's happening to P. Diddy right now, man. It's a mess. What's going on with old Puffy? And for me, I don't know. It's
there are gonna be some awesome concerts in prison.
Yeah, I mean, hey, all the talent going to jail, man. And
R. Kelly hookup is gonna be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow a lot of. I know these guys. I just don't know the depths of their.
Well, I've been following and this it's always been rumors surrounding all these people in the music industry or whatever, and so a lot of these people who claiming that they're victims, I don't believe that they're victims. I believe a lot of it's buyer's remorse. You know what I mean? They got involved in it, and it didn't pan out the way that they wanted it to pan out, and so now I'm a victim or whatever. Like the ladies with Bill Cosby. 30 years later, I'm a victim. And I mean, it is a part of me. I guess I'm getting older or whatever, man. This guy put a lot of people, not per se, but his music and the lifestyle that they sold to people, selling gangsters, and that put a lot of people in prison, man. It's taken a lot of people away from us, in the name of him making, take that.
Yeah, it's the allegations are crazy, man. And so if he's found guilty of any of those things, you're talking about sex trafficking and all kind of the madness that anybody like that. If
I just don't believe that is something new. I think they've been doing it, but he was worth so much to somebody to keep him on the street that they protected him until a time like now when they're ready to just.
Yeah, you stay on that path, it'll bite you, man. And but if that's the lifestyle. Not the lifestyle, but that's just abusing people. That's just wrong. And so if that's true, then I'm sure he'll get the appropriate time.
Yeah, at that age right there, cause you 50 something, you ain't trying to hit nothing but no 20 years or 30 years. It's a wrap. You dead.
Yeah, you can't do that to young. I mean, you just can't do that. That's personal attacks and I have a real problem with that. So I saw the highlights where they were storming his home in LA and I think in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anything that what they may have found, but the agency they sent in there was specifically a task force looking for evidence of sex trafficking.
I said he must have endorsed Trump. That's what he must have done. He must have. Because I ain't heard him saying nothing about the election, because he's a big Democrat guy. You know what I mean? Vote or die, all that foolishness. But since they let Harry O out of prison, Harry O telling all the gangsters that, look here, y'all got to vote for Trump now. You know who Harry O is, right?
No, I'm not familiar with him.
Harry O was the founder of Death Row Records, and that was one of the guys who Trump pardoned on his way out.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Harry O was still doing big deals while he was locked up for doing a life sentence, and like when decisions had to be made about death row, they had to go to the prison and talk to Harry O, and and so it was a brilliant move on Trump's part, because if you notice, remember now when Trump first ran for president, Snoop Dogg was on some, man, if he's president, I'm leaving the country. Never left, but now Snoop is endorsing him.
Endorsing who?
Endorsing Trump.
You got to be kidding me.
Oh man, all of these guys now. Like I said, Harry O has that kind of influence. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear Snoop, pledging all his allegiance to Harry O and what he's done for him. Because Snoop owns Death Row Records now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, check into that. Snoop is
Hey,
Snoop on the Trump train. But
Taylor Swift, she's shutting all that down.
Who that?
Taylor Swift.
Oh man,
shutting it down.
Yeah, true. I mean, he on the Trump train, which means he'll be indicted here pretty soon.
Everybody's upset with Taylor, because hey, leave that young lady alone. She was at the games and having a good time, and I'm sure, generating a lot of revenue for everybody involved in.
Absolutely, absolutely,
football, so.
Absolutely, bringing a bunch of non-football fans to the game.
Little girls, all of them. I mean, they're watching, so I'm excited about that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I don't trust them Hollywood types, man. I'm gonna just keep real with you. Like, they dark. They because matter of fact, the girl who was in the booth with her, the Ice Spice girls, they do a lot of they dabble in what could easily be taken as devil worshiping things that they do. I mean, I study all that crazy stuff, and I know the music industry is closely tied with that stuff. You know what I mean? And so gotta be careful with them. And Taylor, she got that little innocent, it's gonna shake, 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 shake. Yeah, but I don't trust her.
Taylor's all right with me. I'm gonna have to check and see what's going on with Snoop. Snoop then went to the dark side.
Hey man, Snoop
then went to the dark side.
Snoop said, "Hey man, they even got Charlemagne the God, whatever he calls
Charlemagne.
Yeah,
Monk's Corner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What? Trump supporter?
Yep. And see, Charlemagne could never he could never recover from when Biden dropped that if you're not black if you don't vote for me. He never recovered from that because it's like, you let that man say that to you,
Oh, Charlemagne. Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I heard that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, they had my girl. They had my girl Candace Owens on the other day, and everybody's on Candace because she got she parted ways with The Wire, that network she was on, and a lot of folks, they don't know why. One of the main reasons is her love for Jesus Christ, and
really?
she started that Jesus is King, talk, and now that's cool with me and you, but when you start talking to them small hats, them small hats, they get a little, hold on, he ain't my king, you know what I mean? Hey, he the king of the Jews.
Yeah, I am a full fan supporter of Jesus Christ. So
no doubt, and that's hey, you the CJ Stroud, the new the young quarterback.
Yeah,
they did a clip, and I'll have it for next Tuesday. I'm about to pull it up right now, and I'm gonna show it to you. They did a clip where they edited out him saying that.
Mm-hmm.
He did the post game, and first of all, I want to give like how Aaron was like, first of all, I want to give honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. They cut that out of the interview.
Oh wow!
and ran the other part. Like listen, and that's
what's wrong with us. I think now, just you pull Christ out of everything, man. The prayer out of school.
Yes,
and when you do that, you open the door for all things evil to come in.
And that's the problem with these secular small hats that run the music industry. You know what I mean? They want us away from that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, they want us away from that.
Yeah. That's horrible. Yeah. And we're seeing the results of it now. None of this stuff is it's just happening.
No,
it's the writing. I don't want. I'm not in the pulpit, but I know what I know.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. And I you don't have to be in the pulpit for me. You don't have to be in the pulpit to see the writing on the wall. The obvious, like we're in a different. People are. It's bad, man. And I've had elderly people say to me, like, they just, like, at a loss for words.
Mm-hmm.
Not being able to explain like what is the change in our people.
Well, it's again, if we follow the word, it tells us this thing. When you're talking about brothers against brothers, and look at all the families are falling apart for simple things. There's a death and everybody's fighting over property, or you just having issues with your sibling, and you and your parents doesn't have a relationship. And then you got the government. I mean, our government at all levels is upside down.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, it's like Congress is like a big courtroom. Everything is investigated and challenged, and not moving things for the purpose of quality of life for the people.
Tit for tat.
And then it's now drifted down to this level at the municipalities. We got the same thing, some of the same thing going on, and it's crazy. So. You were talking about love thy neighbor, and I read something today. I think it was my nephew who posted, which was pretty, insightful in terms of, how he view his neighbors and loving them and doing what he can. And there was one that never speaks. He said, but once he realizes that, hey, we're all here, we need to love on each other, then he's going to see that he lost a lot of time. That it just ain't happening. All you try to pull it together, there's going to be separation.
Yeah, that's just
it's politics, and it's crazy.
Yep.
And so it's but we got to keep trying, because we've got a lot of got young kids coming. Like we talked about the Girl Scouts and all these others, that we have to be adults about how we handle business and not let our political affiliation or our economic status or not drive these wedges between us, especially down at this level. Those folks in DC don't care what's happening down in Andrews. So Andrews need to take care of Andrews. We need to be good citizens, good neighbors, and so we have a ways to go there. Those folks, they don't know what's happening here, but we fighting on a cause that they're talking about. We bring these national level issues down here, like, dude, nobody know who you are, Frank McClary.
Yeah.
So
I tell you,
do what you're supposed to do at Andrews and keep on getting it done. And that's just my view on this whole thing. It's frustrating, man.
Yeah, and last thing, and then we get out of here. But
I got to get out of here. I'm gonna get some sleep, because I've still got to write my notes for tomorrow, and so great event. It's gonna be nice, man, to see Felicia and all the people coming out.
The superintendent situation. Apparently, the superintendent has applied for a position in Lexington County, where he came from. And, I was seeing all the people talking about how we should, grab local talent. And again, that sounds good. But is there somebody in the local who you think would be good for that job, just off the cuff?
Oh, yeah, they're currently in position for that. I believe we have some local talent. But again, you spoke on it earlier, whether it's as an educator or an elected official or a coach, they need to be the right fit for the community. They need to be committed, know what they're doing, and do it for the purpose of improving whatever entity that is, improving that the quality of life for these people. And so whether they're here, it'd be great, but you have to be here and involved.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be committed, not just because you're here. And then if you get the job and you're on the outside, then you're going to have to make an effort. You know, I talk about Pastor Michael Cannon, who doesn't live here, but he's been pastoring here for 17 years. In fact, they just did his I think his 17th year pastor's event this past weekend. He's here. He's involved. He runs programs. They got the Freedom Readers.
Mm-hmm.
He has a program he runs for men that meet. I don't know how often, every Saturday or maybe every other Saturday. He opens his place for any event, any community event, and I don't believe there's any charge. And he's here, and he's engaging. He doesn't live here. Is he effective? Yes. He reminds me of Reverend Gordon back in the day. You know, I was a young cat, but everybody knew Reverend Gordon, and they know he would fight for the needs of his district. He has that same level of involvement, and that's what it takes. And he's not here. So then wherever you plant it, grow there, and make sure that you are taking care of the people that you're in charge of. And so if it's not resident right here in this area, then you're gonna have to find it, because it's the lives of the kids, in this case in school, that it's having an impact on. It's not about me or whoever that person is. What are you going to do to make a difference? Are you committed? Are you giving everything? Because once you get into a leadership position, you're going to sacrifice somewhere else if you're going to do the job. That's the bottom line. You're going to be missing from other events because the requirement is on you to make it better. Now, can you bring people along with you? And that's really what it boils down to. So whoever this young man is, again, the superintendent, if he leaves, I know it's very challenging now. Now that it's out, if he doesn't get the job, I'm not so sure what's going to happen, because I saw a lot of heartfelt expressions.
Mm-hmm.
I work well with him, like the guy. Not sure why, decisions made, but I'm sure he did it in the best interest of he and his family. But it stepped on some toes, and it got some people speaking out. Who follows? I believe there's some local talent, and we'll talk about that. I won't, get ahead of it.
Oh, yeah.
But, and then in the case of the young man coming to Rosemary, I'm going to be there to support it. Whoever was, is in that position, I'm going to do what I can, as the mayor, to help support our education process. The decision has been made by the school board gets the final decision. That's done. Now let's get behind these people and make it better. That's all it is. He or she, whomever it is, can't do it by themselves. So let's work together as a community.
No doubt. And we'll stop it right there, sir. Great to be back. Great conversation. We covered
I told you 45 minutes, but I guess, we got rolling here, and so I just had to burn the midnight oil. It was good. I like to talk to people, let them know what's happening, man. And so I look forward to our next podcast. I spoke to a young lady who's, we've got a couple of people I want to bring on.
Okay.
That will be helpful. We got some very helpful information.
No doubt. I definitely, I was just mentioning her the other night. I'm going to reach out to her tomorrow, Miss Hemingway, who is the new head of the Democratic Party in Georgetown County. And
she'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I'll see. Matter of fact, I may get a sound bite from her tomorrow. I'll do that, definitely.
Yeah, she'll be here tomorrow. So look forward to it, man. So I'll see you on the ground tomorrow.
All right, sir. You have a good one. And everybody, again, thank you guys for hanging in there with us. If you haven't already, please hit that like button on your way out. Share this out. And, we're back to our regularly scheduled program and time. I'll do my best not to touch on topics that may get me flagged or anything like that. I've created another channel so I can vent on those different subjects and topics. But anyway,